Dive deep into one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. In 2014, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 passengers and crew vanished without a trace, sparking one of the largest search operations the world has ever seen. What caused this aircraft to disappear? Was it a technical malfunction, human intervention, or something far more mysterious? In this video, we break down the entire timeline, explore the evidence, and discuss the leading theories, from pilot involvement and mechanical failure to more outlandish ideas like cyberattacks. We'll also look at how this tragedy has impacted aviation safety worldwide and the ongoing efforts to find answers. If you're fascinated by unsolved mysteries and aviation history, this in-depth investigation will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the disappearance of MH370. The timeline of events. What happened to MH370? 1. Takeoff and early stages. Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 0041 local time. The plane was scheduled to fly a routine flight path toward Beijing Capital International Airport. It was a clear night, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The captain, Zahari Ahmad Shah, was an experienced pilot with over 18,000 hours of flying time, and his first officer, Fariq Abdul Hamid, was relatively new but competent. There were no initial signs of distress. 2. Last contact with air traffic control. A 0119 MH370 made its final voice communication with Malaysian air traffic control. The first officer's words, "Good night, Malaysian 370, were the last confirmed contact with the plane. At this point, everything seemed routine as the aircraft continued its flight over the South China Sea. But just minutes later, at 0122, the plane's transponder, which allows it to be tracked by radar, was turned off. The aircraft essentially disappeared from radar. 3. The plane changes course. Military radar later picked up what is believed to be MH370, making a sharp turn to the west, back over the Malaysian peninsula. This abrupt change in direction was never communicated to air traffic control, nor was there any distress signal. The plane continued flying for several more hours, eventually turning south over the Indian Ocean. This is where the trail runs cold. Civilian radar was unable to track the aircraft, and only satellite pings suggested the plane's final direction. 4. The search begins. When Flight MH370 failed to land in Beijing at 0630 as scheduled, a full-scale search and rescue operation began. Initially, efforts focused on the South China Sea, where the plane's transponder had last transmitted. However, as more data came in, particularly from Inmarsat satellite pings, investigators realized that MH370 had flown for several more hours after its disappearance from radar. The search shifted to a vast area of the southern Indian Ocean, far from the plane's original flight path. The search, a global effort with few results. The search for MH370 quickly became the largest and most expensive in aviation history. Numerous countries, including Malaysia, China, Australia, and the United States, contributed ships, planes, and satellite resources to comb through thousands of square kilometers of ocean. 1. The initial search. The initial search efforts were focused on an area of the Indian Ocean, identified through data from the Inmarsat satellite system. The satellite tracked handshakes, or hourly signals from MH370's satellite communications system, allowing investigators to estimate the plane's flight path. This led to the infamous 7th Arc, a vast stretch of ocean where the final handshake occurred. Despite these efforts, no trace of the aircraft was found in the early stages. 2. Debris discoveries. In July 2015, more than a year after the plane's disappearance, a significant breakthrough occurred. A piece of debris, later confirmed to be from MH370, was found washed ashore on the island of Réunion in the western Indian Ocean. This debris, known as a flaperon, was part of the plane's wing. Over the next few years, more debris linked to MH370 would be discovered on beaches across the Indian Ocean, from Madagascar to Mozambique. These discoveries confirmed that the plane had indeed crashed into the Indian Ocean, but the main wreckage, including the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, remains missing. 3. The official search ends after several years and millions of dollars spent. The official search for MH370 was called off in 2017. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau, ATSB, led the final search effort, which covered more than 120,000 square kilometers of ocean. Despite using advanced underwater search technology, including sonar mapping and autonomous submarines, no significant wreckage was found. However, the ATSB's final report emphasized that it was highly likely the aircraft was located somewhere within the search area, but it may have been missed due to challenging underwater terrain. The theories. What could have happened to MH370? The disappearance of MH370 has sparked numerous theories, some more plausible than others. With so little concrete evidence, investigators and aviation experts have been left to speculate on what might have caused the aircraft's mysterious disappearance. 1. Mechanical failure. One of the most straightforward explanations is that MH370 suffered a catastrophic mechanical failure that caused it to crash. The Boeing 777 is known for its reliability, but no aircraft is completely immune to failure. Some have suggested a sudden depressurization could have knocked out the crew and passengers, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. However, this theory doesn't fully explain why the plane's transponder was turned off, or why it made a sharp turn-off course. To hijacking. Another popular theory is that MH370 was hijacked. The abrupt turn-off course and the deactivation of the transponder suggests someone in the cockpit might have taken control of the plane. Some believe that Captain Zahari, or another crew member, intentionally diverted the flight. However, no credible evidence has been found to suggest a motive for such an action. Additionally, there has been no terrorist group claiming responsibility, which is often the case with hijackings. 3. Pilot suicide. Perhaps the most controversial theory is that Captain Zahari deliberately crashed the plane in an act of suicide. Investigators discovered that Zahari had practiced flying a route similar to MH370's final flight path on a flight simulator at his home. Some believe this suggests premeditation, though others argue that the simulator data is circumstantial. No definitive evidence has been found to support this theory, but it remains a possibility. 4. Cyberattack or hacking. With the increasing role of technology in aviation, some have speculated that MH370 could have been the victim of a cyber attack. In this scenario, hackers could have remotely taken control of the plane and flown it off course. While this theory might sound like something out of a movie, experts have pointed out that modern commercial aircraft systems are highly secure and would be incredibly difficult to hack. No evidence has been found to support this theory. 5. Alien abduction or other paranormal explanations. As with many unsolved mysteries, MH370 has been the subject of wild and speculative theories, including alien abduction and secret government experiments. While these ideas make for fascinating science fiction, there is no scientific or factual basis for these claims. Such theories arise more from the frustration of not having answers than from any actual evidence. The aftermath, the impact on aviation. The disappearance of MH370 had a profound impact on the aviation industry. In response to the incident, several changes have been implemented to improve aircraft tracking and ensure that such a mystery doesn't happen again. 1. Real-time aircraft tracking. One of the biggest issues in the MH370 case was the lack of real-time tracking. Modern planes, including the Boeing 777, rely on radar and transponder systems to communicate their location. When MH370's transponder was turned off, it effectively disappeared from radar. To prevent this from happening in the future, the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, has introduced new regulations requiring planes to transmit their location every 15 minutes. 2. Satellite communication. Advances in satellite communication technology have also been implemented. Future aircraft will be equipped with systems that allow for continuous communication with air traffic control, even over remote areas like oceans. These systems would make it much harder for a plane to disappear in the same way that MH370 did. 3. Improved black box technology. The black boxes of MH370, which include the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, have never been recovered. These devices are crucial for understanding what happened in the final moments of a flight. In response to the MH370 mystery, aviation experts have called for black boxes with longer battery life and the ability to float, making them easier to recover in the event of a crash in the ocean. Conclusion: will we ever know what happened to MH370? 10 years after the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, the world is still left wondering what happened. Despite the discovery of debris and extensive search efforts, the main wreckage has never been found, and the mystery remains unsolved. For the families of the 239 passengers and crew members, the lack of answers has been heartbreaking. The disappearance of MH370 stands as a stark reminder of the vastness of our world and the limits of modern technology. As technology continues to evolve, there may come a day when the full story of MH370 is uncovered. Until then, it remains one of the most intriguing, unsolved mysteries of our time, a mystery that continues to captivate the world. This video was created using advanced AI technology to provide an accurate and in-depth look at the mystery of Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370. If you enjoyed this exploration into one of the most